Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it. They say time heals all wounds, but time, I've learned, also exposes the ones that never mattered to anyone but you. It was a cold Wednesday in March. Rain tapped on the window pane like it was trying to remind me I wasn't alone, but I was. Margaret had been gone for 13 months. My hip ached, my eyesight blurred more each week, and the world outside felt like a distant movie I no longer had a ticket for. The house felt cavernous without her. Every room whispered memories I couldn't answer. I hadn't driven since the fall. Climbing the stairs took longer each day. So, with pride swallowed, I reached for the phone and dialed Evelyn, my only daughter. "Dad?" She answered, distracted, hurried. "Hi, sweetheart," I said gently. "I've been thinking. Maybe it's time I moved closer to you. Not into your house, of course, just nearby. A condo, maybe. Would be nice to see the grandkids once in a while." There was a pause, a long one. I could hear the faint clicking of a keyboard in the background. Then a voice I didn't expect. Ralph, her husband. "Jordan, listen. We're just really overwhelmed right now. It's not the best time." "I don't need help," I said quickly, swallowing the tremble in my voice. "I'd manage on my own," I just thought. "We don't need extra pressure," Evelyn interrupted, softer but no less final. "We got the kids, Ralph's work, my deadlines. It's just too much." I sat there, holding the phone in silence. A rejection dressed in courtesy, worse than outright cruelty. "I understand," I said quietly. "Thank you for your honesty." After I hung up, I stared at the faded photo on the wall, Margaret, smiling beside me on our 40th anniversary. She would have never allowed this to happen. That night, I called the real estate agent. Then I pulled out the folder labeled Will Evelyn. It felt heavier than I remembered. By sunrise, I had made up my mind. I wouldn't beg for love anymore. I'd stop knocking on a door that no one wanted to open. Let them be too busy. So would I? Busy building a new life without them. The house sold faster than I expected. Maybe people liked the garden Margaret had tended, or maybe they just saw a good deal. Either way, it was gone, just like the life I had built inside it. I moved into a modest apartment on the first floor in a quiet part of town. No more stairs, no memories echoing from empty rooms. Just space, blank, unfamiliar, and mine. I kept to myself at first. I wasn't looking for anyone. I wasn't expecting kindness. Then came the knock. "Hi there," said a cheerful voice. "You must be the new neighbor." It was Monica and her husband, Darren, mid-50s, full of life, carrying a casserole dish like something out of a storybook I didn't believe in anymore. "You doing okay settling in?" Darren asked, glancing at the stacked boxes and my confused expression. "I'm managing," I lied, mostly. They smiled anyway and stayed. "Just for tea," they said. But they came back the next day, with groceries. Then again the next week, with tools to fix the kitchen faucet. Something I hadn't felt in years started to stir. Gratitude, then guilt, then a flicker of hope. 2 months in, I rewrote the will. Evelyn's name disappeared from the page like she'd never existed. Instead, I left everything to Monica and Darren, not out of spite, but out of simple truth. They were the only ones who had shown up when I had nothing left. Then, one Thursday morning, it happened. A blinding headache. My right arm went numb. The world tilted. I collapsed in the kitchen. When I came to, I was in a hospital bed. Monica was by my side, holding my hand like a daughter might have. Darren stood at the foot of the bed, his eyes rimmed with red. "We found you," Monica whispered. "You called 911, but you didn't finish. We got worried when you didn't answer your door." Later that night, I called Evelyn. "I had a stroke," I told her. "I thought you should know." A pause, then tears. "Dad, why didn't you call me sooner? You were busy, remember?" She tried to apologize, but the words felt hollow, like a rainstorm after the harvest. "I changed the will," I said quietly. "I thought you deserved to know that too." Her sobs deepened, but I didn't hang up. Evelyn showed up a week after the stroke. She stood in the doorway of my condo, awkwardly clutching a bouquet of supermarket flowers, her lips stretched into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "You look Well, she said, scanning the room like it offended her. I brought lilies. They're nice, I replied, though Margaret had always hated lilies, said they smelled like funerals. She sat stiffly on the edge of the armchair, glancing at her watch too often. There were no questions about my health, no warmth, just polite phrases and uneasy silence. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry, Dad, for not being there. I nodded, but my heart didn't flinch. Words meant little now. Absence had spoken louder. You still upset about the will? I added too quickly. I turned slowly toward her. You remember that day I called, when I asked to live nearby? She shifted in her seat. You said you were too busy, that you didn't need the extra hassle. I didn't mean. You did. She blinked back sudden tears but said nothing more. After 15 minutes, she stood to leave. I'll visit again soon, she promised. I didn't reply. 3 weeks later, a letter arrived, not from her, but from Ralph. Dear Jordan, Evelyn told me about the changes to your will. We understand it's your right, but perhaps it's time to revisit things rationally. The rest was a mess of polite manipulation, financial responsibility, fairness, even references to family legacy. I read it once, then dropped it into the shredder. That night, I called my lawyer, told him to reinforce everything. Ironclad, irrevocable, no loopholes. Then I took the spare keys to my old truck and handed them to Philip, the 19-year-old who bagged groceries at the corner store and helped carry mine each week without asking. You drive? I asked. He blinked, confused. Ah, yeah. Good. She's yours now. Tank's full. I'd never seen a smile so stunned and pure. It was the first honest joy I've felt in years. It was late afternoon when Evelyn appeared again. No call, no warning. Her hair was disheveled, her blouse wrinkled. She looked older than her 45 years. I didn't invite her in. She came anyway. Dad, we need to talk, she said, voice cracking. I crossed my arms. If it's about the will again, don't bother. No. Yes, it's not what you think. She collapsed onto the couch, burying her face in her hands. Ralph, he lost everything. $270,000. Online gambling, credit cards, loans I didn't even know about until last month, were drowning. My stomach sank, not from pity, but from the sheer stupid audacity. So this visit, it's not about love, I said slowly. It's about the hope I'll bail you out. No, she shot back. Maybe at first, but seeing you after the stroke. Dad, I realized I failed you. I left you alone. You didn't leave me, I said quietly. You rejected me. She looked like I'd slapped her. I begged just to live nearby, not in your house, not even dinner, just to exist on your radar. And you both turned away. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but my heart had hardened too long to melt now. I miss Mom every day, she whispered. I didn't know how to be close to you without her. Ralph knew how to be close to my money. Silence. I stood, walked to the door. Evelyn, maybe one day I'll forgive you, but not today, not for this. As she walked out slowly, I noticed her shoulders trembling, not with grief, but with shame. And in that moment, I knew with certainty the will stayed exactly as it was. I was sipping lukewarm tea when my lawyer, Mr. Halbert, called. Jordan, your son-in-law tried to book a meeting with me this morning. Said he just wanted to talk options. I shut it down immediately. I chuckled bitterly. He doesn't give up, does he? No, but neither should you. Later that evening, I logged into Facebook. Yes, at 77, I'd learned and posted a story. My story. With trembling fingers, I wrote of how I lost my wife, my health, and then, most painfully, my daughter. I wrote of Evelyn's rejection, Ralph's greed, and how kindness came not from blood, but from strangers who helped me live again. By morning, it had over 800 shares. Comments poured in. You're not alone, Jordan. Family isn't always blood. Some offered help, others shared their own pain. I wasn't invisible anymore. 3 days later, Evelyn called. I didn't pick up. She left a voicemail. I saw your post. You made me the villain. Maybe I deserve it. I just wanted you to know, I cried reading it. Still, I remained silent. Instead, I called Philip, the boy I gifted my old truck to. You still got the keys? I asked. Sure do, Mr. Archer. Good. Let's take one more drive. He picked me up an hour later. We drove to a hill outside town where my late wife and I once picnicked. The wind was brisk, but the sun was warm. I watched the trees dance and let the silence wrap around me like an old friend. I'm ready, I said. For what? Philip asked gently. To live the rest of my days on my terms. As for Evelyn and Ralph, they would inherit nothing but the silence they gave me. Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.